Hello viewers, welcome to my channel Science Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're going to talk about Canon EOS R6 Mark III. So let's dive deep into it. So this puppy Mark 6 is basically a mid-range hybrid camera. What does that mean? That simply means it's priced at a sweet spot. It's not too cheap where the almost all things are compromised. It's not too ludicrously expensive where there's like, oh, but I can't buy it. It's mid-range. It's like precisely there. Basically, they sell a lot of this. And again, A7 Mark series is basically Sony's option for that. So EOS R6 Mark II sold a lot. Like unit sale volume is bonkersly high in this price range. So company generally puts some effort into this because again, flagships are built in such a way that they're only going to sell few of them. So price is ludicrously high in this because they expect them to sell hundreds and thousands of those. They keep the price reasonable. But again, they do not cheap out too much on it, nor they lavish it too much. So it's a very good, delicate balance. So price is in Indian rupees 2,44,000. Not bad, not bad. Let's just put it that way. Now the interesting part is I double checked, triple checked, and this is a screenshot from that when I was making this presentation that R6 Mark III and R6 Mark II is exactly the same MSRP in India right now. What the hell? Now, to be fair, I checked in other sites. This is from Canon. I checked it from other sites. The price of R6 Mark II was much lower. But this fundamentally proves that they did not increase the price. Flat out. Damn be tariff, damn be inflation, they did not increase the price. So let that be very clear. When people say, oh, it's tariff, it's inflation, none of that. It just simply means they want to increase their profit margins. So what is it? Okay, they keep the price the same. So what is it? It's a turbocharged R6 Mark II. So what is the core fundamental? Well, take the same hardware, add new sensor. Nothing else has changed. Card sensor has changed, but the primary thing is you have a new sensor. And where's that sensor from? That sensor is literally copy paste from C50, meaning if you want to understand the quality, look and feel of this puppy, just look into C50 reviews. You will get exact same output. It's the exact same system. So what's the difference between two? In the easiest way to think it that way, C50 has fan and does not have IBUS. This does not have fan but does have IBUS. So you win some, you lose some. You lose the fan but you gain the IBUS. And there are a lot of upgrades that had to be done onto especially the cards of this puppy, simply because otherwise that 33 megapixel compared to 24 megapixel would have been difficult or slow. Basically, you can have very high megapixel camera. We used to have, like, if I remember correctly, Canon D800, D850, those were stupidly high megapixel camera, but again, running on SD cards, so, or XQD cards, so they were slow. So this is the point we are talking about. Basically, they took a very, bonkersly large amount of sales volume, and it's like, okay, we're gonna upgrade that puppy, and we're not gonna change the price. Actually, ironically, this is so the gap between those two models is not high, but jump is huge enough where somebody might be like, I bought R6 just 2 years ago. It might be a time to just upgrade again. That's how big the jump is. 24 to 33. So what's the biggest thing? Well, here's the deal. If you are used to Canon EOS R mirrorless series bodies, it's exactly the same. And if you're coming from R6, you can do it in blind. Like, you do not have to worry about it. That's the good part. Now, the biggest change other than sensor is the SD card. Now, SD card got into CFast Type B. If you looked into the older one was 2 SD card slot. This is a big necessary because again, sensor will not be able to shine. If they wanted to give you, like, raw video recording, that SD card cannot handle it. So fundamentally speaking, they had to upgrade it, and they upgraded to CFast Type B, one of the slot. Dual slots are only reserved for very ludicrously expensive cameras. So that is there. Now, HDMI is finally full size. I am so glad. Like, I am so freaking glad. I'm like genuinely shocked how long it took Canon to fix this issue, but I'm happy. Because you have to understand, like, many times people have cameras like I'm using it. I could easily have a monitor. Many people do. Monitor, TV. Many people have that monitor as a review monitor. Using micro HDMI cable, yeah, that cable is expensive. Like, you can get a cheap TV for the price of the cable. That's how expensive that price is. Actually, cheap TV is that cheap. And again, not to mention, it breaks often. So it's a really frustrating experience. Full size, everybody wins. So that's the good part. And the USB has been upgraded from last variant had 5 Gbps, this variant has 10 Gbps, meaning if you do not have a card reader for CFast Type B, you do not need to. Like as long as you have a good high speed computer which can actually eat data at that speed, because 10 Gbps translates to 1 gigabytes per second, 10 gigabits per second versus 1 gigabyte per second. So 1 gigabyte, that does not happen in mechanical hard drive. Mechanical hard drive will poop itself at around 250 mbps, and I'm being optimistic. You need NVMe SSD. So if your computer has NVMe SSD and empty storage to dump that data, this camera itself would be a competent card reader. You do not need to buy extra card reader. So that's a good thing. And this can give you almost every function of C50, every. So it has 7K open gate. Now open gate simply means all of the sensor. Why it's that a big deal? Simply because people want, nowadays, especially in content world, want a bit of flexibility. Let's just say you are taking photo of a wedding or video of a wedding, specifically video wise. You're like, capture everything. You already paid for the lens, you already paid for the sensor, capture the damn thing. So you get a bit of wiggle room in post processing where you can adjust it. And in content creation world, that's a very priceless asset, where you can, hey, 16:9, hey, vertical ratio. And again, it will have different wiggle room on the top and the bottom. So people who are like, if they look side by side your YouTube and Instagram, they're like, no, there is difference there, and that's a good thing. So people like that. They're like, hey, wiggle room. So you're gonna have that basically 7K open gate, 3:2 full recording. Be mindful, that will only go to 30 FPS. You're like, okay, I want 60. You can do that, but you have to go down from the full RAW to compromised RAW, that is like 12-bit RAW rather than 14-bit RAW. So does that matter? Short answer, no. No. Almost all streaming is still done at 8-bit. So it does not matter where it's like, oh, I want very, like, bro, that transmission is that. So as long as you are above a 10-bit on your master file, you good. You good. Don't worry about it. So 7K open gate, that's 30 FPS. That's like short uptake money if you really want to like cinema grade color grading. And if you're like a little bit of compromise, 60 FPS is still short uptake money. And you're like, okay, what if I go down to, rather than raw video file, 4K 120 FPS full sensor readout? That is good. But be mindful, at that point you are going into 16:9. You're not getting 3:2 full sensor readout. You're not gonna get it, but you're not gonna have any crop. Like Sony really pisses me off. It's like, hey, sensor full 4K 60, yay. No, 4K 60 means crop to APS-C. This does not do that. Oh, mind you, and if you're like, hey, what if I only need full HD? You can do that full HD, and it will give you 180 frame per second. So really good sensor system. It does have tally lamp, so it does make your life easier. And not to mention, they did not cheap out on basically removing all the support accessories, as in normally we generally shoot photos with histogram. Video people use waveform. This supports that, even though those things are generally used to be exclusive for C series of Canon cameras. Now it's available in this also. So you're gonna have good time. And they did not cheap out on the USB converter chip. So this puppy can do 4K 60. Mind you, most Sony can only do 4K 30. So 4K 60 universal video coordinate, I'm saying codecs. What does that mean? Plug it over USB, it's a 4K 60 camera directly, meaning all your software will record it. Although I don't think it's useful for video conference, simply because most conference software like Google Meet is limited to 720p. Zoom only goes to full HD. Unless you are paying a very expensive software, I don't think you can stream at that. But again, it still would look exponentially better than any webcam. So has that. And again, if like I do live streaming every Saturday, this will be like, shut up, take money. Shut up, take money. This would be like, I do not have to worry about anything. Just put it in OBS, transmit it, done, go home. So that's good. That's good. And focus pull, which again, they have learned it the hard way, that if you have phase detect autofocus, the computer knows where it's supposed to focus. It's like, oh, here, I'm going to focus it. The phase detect algorithm has the benefit of like telling you how much you have to change. Cool, awesome. But it makes it very unnatural. The lens goes from nothing, wow. Now, that's cool and all, great for photos, but horrendous for video. It makes it very jittery. And that's why people generally hire a person to do focus pull in videos, as in movies. So there is a guy who's doing focus pull, and that also gives you control. So having that sort of inherent bias into it, so it has a ramp up, stable speed, then slow down, that gives a more authentic feel of autofocus. So even if you're not tampering with anything, it will feel a bit more relaxed, so more desirable. But that's the whole point. Like, these little things makes your experience far more pleasant, so to say. Now, what sort of performance we are talking about. Now, this has much better buffer capacity compared to the last variant, because again, feature set wise in terms of stills, it's exactly the same, but they have improved the buffer. So, and because they have CFast Type B, they can also clear the buffer very quickly. So you can dump 150 full RAW in the buffer. Now it can only go to 40 frame per second, 40 frame per second at electronic shutter. That's few seconds, meaning if you know what you are trying to capture, you can capture almost a video file, 1 second, 2 second clip at 40 fps. So that's there. And if you're like, okay, little bit of compromise, you go to compressed raw format. That puppy gives you 280. That's few seconds. That's almost like TikTok attention span. So that's good. Oh, by the way, don't even look into how much you can do if you go to JPEG only. It just it's, you do not have to. And again, because you have Type B card slot, it dumps it also very quickly. So that is there. And it does have almost all video function of C50. However, let's be very clear, it will overheat. That's the biggest reason why C50 has giant fan. It needs to have fan. Without that, Digic X SoC, I don't think is powerful enough. I originally thought it's the analog to digital converter in the sensor that is overheating, but I don't think so, because again, Canon sells that same sensor for industrial customer. So how the heck? Most likely it's the Digic X is overheating. So, and again, there are a lot of guys who modified their R5, original one R5, where they put a copper block on the basically SoC, and it camera stopped overheating. So I'm pretty sure it's SoC. I do not think it's the sensor or the analog to digital converter on the sensor. And again, it does not require heatsink, otherwise they would not have IBUS. So that's the whole point. So if you want to do long recording, check it for your temperature. Meaning, if you are in European countries and American places where are only 25 degrees Celsius, cool, awesome, trust all the YouTubers. But if you are in India where the temperature goes hot, you have to either buy C50 if you really want to trust it, or have air conditioned indoor room, or have a cooling fan on it. So let that be very clear. It does have horsepower, it just does not have the radiator to cool it. And the annoying part, this part, because again, I am a Canon user, I do hate this part. Like, Canon modifies battery like there is no tomorrow. This, I have to say, whoever is Sony's engineer is really good power engineers. Now, it does make sense because Sony was the company that made lithium ion popular. So even the original patent expire after 20 years. That's why everybody can make it. So they really have LPE6 battery. Cool, awesome. So you're like, hey, I have R6 Mark II. I'm gonna upgrade to R6 Mark III. The battery will work, half work. That's the worst. Like, it will not just say, oh no, this battery is not supported. It will work. It's just like you go into buffer mode. No, it will limit it. Why? Because it needs P series battery that has more amps. It's like they are saying it can almost dump 6 amps of current to feed that puppy. What does Sony do? Z1000. Go home. Nothing after that. You can buy a flagship APS-C, it has Z1000. Every full frame, Z1000. The end. And that's been going on for years. Years. You do not have to worry about it. So that does frustrate me. It's like, oh, we have LPE6 P batteries. Like, why there is that P? It's like, why? Like, Sony went from like freaking APS-C cameras to freaking global shutter full frame, which mind you, Canon does not have it yet. They did that and they still use the same battery. And you're like, oh, every time we are changing battery, we have to change the chemistry so we can increase the amps. So you have to buy a new thing. I'm like, that does bother me. That does bother me. Because again, if you have that surge, you're supposed to have capacitor banks to smooth it out. You're not supposed to drain the battery. But let's just see. Now, readout speed, what about the rolling shutter and all that? It's decent. It's not like, whoa, but it's not like, bad. It's just decent. It's better than A7 Mark IV. I genuinely hope this is not that much better than A7 Mark V, but again, if it's A7 Mark V does not get any updates, we'll be sad. And it is lightly weather sealed, so it does have good structure. So meaning, if rain happens, you can run into your indoor environment before this gets kaput. But be mindful, that's the difference between this puppy and R5. R5 is designed to handle, it's like tank the water. This is not designed to tank the water. Do not expose this to rain for long days. Like small drizzle, you can run. That's all it can do. It's not designed to endure it. So performance is very decent, and again, it gives you half second of pre-buffer at 20 fps, meaning 40 fps. You're going 40 fps. Although you can increase the time duration by increasing the decreasing the fps. But that is a very amazing thing. Meaning, if you are looking at a bird, you can half press it, hold it, hold it. Bird flies, that press it. Now again, human reaction time is generally 0.3 seconds. So 0.5 second is more than enough. You should be able to capture exact instance that you wanted to capture. So that is good. So performance is decent. Basically, it's a C50 without the cooling fan, and it does suffer for it because again, if you want to trust this camera for long form video recording, no, just buy C50. Now, overall, I'm very happy with this because this does bring competition into the market, and it's a good offering from Canon for a decent price. Because again, it's almost like Nikon ZR. The camera is not amazing, but for the price, is shut up, take money. Let that be very clear. There are no bad products, just bad prices. So same thing happens here. It's like Canon is not giving you whoa. It's just giving you something that for this price you cannot beat it. And it does have meaningful improvement. Like heck, for some people it really would be frustrating if they have bought recently R6 Mark II. It's like, bro, same price I could have bought this. No, although to be fair, open market price would be a bit lower, but that's the thing. So CFast, and again, let that be very clear. While CFast card system is new, it has surpassed in mass production, as in every camera company is using it. Sony made this, they called it XQD, but because Sony is Sony and they have to smoke cocaine, they created a new format called A format. So this is type B, there is type A, and there is a type C that's supposed to be for cinema camera. So this is PCI lane 1, this is PCI lane 2, and the basically C series is supposed to have 4 PCI lane, exactly like how you have NVMe SSD in your computer. Same thing, NVMe protocol over PCI bus, the exact same thing. Now, early days it was ludicrously expensive because again they were getting the production going and there were not enough demand for it. Now you have Nikon using this puppy, Canon using this puppy, Panasonic using this puppy, Fuji using this puppy. I'm pretty sure almost every other Tom, Dick and Harry is also using it. So the price has come down. How much? Well, right now when I'm making this video, I set the I am student. It's a big site in India for camera equipments, and I set it by price of the same brand. So you can get, it does not have, oh, that brand sells, Angelbird is a good known brand, and if you give 50,000 rupees, just focus on that 50,000. If you have that much money, boom, 50,000. What can I get? The moment you go into SD card, XT cards are very cheap if you are buying slow speed, as in like V20, V30. Till V30, you do not even have to worry about price. It's like, bro, jump change. The moment you go to V60, it's like, ooh. V90, so if you put 50,000, you get 512 half terabyte, so to say. That gives you V90. I'm like, okay, what this says 300 Mbps. 300 Mbps is for data transfer. V90 is for camera to write at it full speed and it will not slow down. That V90 is a stamp of approval, as in like, no, if you are writing at me at like 90 Mbps, I will not slow down. I will not basically default. So you will not have any lost frames or errors. So that is V90. Now here's the deal. What if you had the same money, same brand, you give them like, okay, give me something at the same price, you get 2 terabytes. And let's not even compare the speed. It's exponentially better, basically 10x the speed. Now, does that matter to your daily life? Yes. Like for example, for this camera, which is an ancient Canon 800D, I bought a UHS 2 card. It's like, why? The camera only supports UHS 1. Yes. But because I do video recording every day, basically I dump 2 videos per day, Monday to Friday, and one short video also. That means I'm taking time to dump that file. If I have UHS 2 card reader, I can dump the file faster. That direct. Now my speed is limited by actual mechanical hard drives I have, not the card reader. If I had the UHS 1 card reader, I could only dump at 90 Mbps. Now I can easily dump at 150 to 200. That saves time because again, I'm doing it daily. Same goes with this, meaning this generally works at the same speed as your PC SSD. So if you have like main operating system SSD and secondary data storage SSD, this can dump that data. Meaning if you have card reader that can dump it, this is like good. Meaning the time it will save you to transfer file would be magnificent. And be mindful, raw files are huge. Most people have no idea. So if you somehow figured out how to dump a raw file in V90, which again it won't, but let's just say you figured it out, it will take hours to dump the file. This is like done. And this won't be limiting factor. It will be your computer, your USB interface, those sort of things. Why? Because it's a PC, basically it's the same company who's making SSDs for your computer, laptop, servers. They're making it this. It's just the physical case is different. Everything else is same. Heck, you can buy adapters that can do the same. Then we have Sony cocaine, which is like, hey, we're gonna make a, even though we made it, we will use something BS. So this BS is type A, which is single in, but again, because it's the same thing, same silicon, even at basically If you have 50,000, you're only gonna get 512 GB. If you have 50,000 for Sony, you'll get 1 terabyte. If you have 50,000 for Canon, you'll get 2 terabytes. So let that be very clear. A lot of people, again, early days, that was absolutely true that these cards were idiotically expensive. But now mass production has kicked into first gear. A lot of companies are using it. A lot of people are using it. And you need like high frame rate, video rate, high resolution, HDR, all that. This becomes far more cost effective investment rather than this. So let that be clear. Even if you're like, hey, what the feature set I'm gonna use in Canon can be done on SD card, still buy this. Trust me, you will be happier. So, and again, it would be cheaper. So at this point in time, Canon has released a really good camera. Price to performance, good. The only limiting factor is the third-party lens support. That is really, really frustrating. You can't buy autofocus, full electronic autofocus on Sony R mount. You have to buy EF mount, put it in an adapter. I'm like, that's the primary benefit of Sony. And another is Sony has been king for so long that other companies, auxiliary companies, as in DJI microphone companies, is like, hey, we're gonna give you a hot shoe adapter. Now, hopefully, I wish, I pray that Canon sells enough of it that DJI is like, hey, our system can work with Canon also. I wish Nikon sells enough that like, hey, we can work with Nikon also. And again, I really wish Nikon works because Nikon is the one the closest to have 32-bit pipeline. So, but that gives an issue where it's like, if you buy Sony, you do not have to worry about battery, you do not have to worry about lenses, you do not have to worry about other third-party accessories. Now, does that matter? For me, yes, because I'm gonna record every day multiple times. So, now another, the biggest actual hurdle is the cooling fan. I have to make sure I buy a cooling fan and I have to wait for someone to test this puppy in a hot environment, as in like 35 degrees Celsius. But as of now, all the rumors and all that, I genuinely have very low hope on A7 Mark V. The only good thing they can do is just reduce the price of it. Or maybe, if they have a good sensor, as in the sensor same 33 megapixel, but it has ludicrously high readout speed or stacked sensor, then they will have something interesting. But if they really give me like, 4K 60 cropped, I would be mad. You know what? Let's just go for it. I'll look into basically Canon's first party lenses, and I only need like 24 to 70 f2.8. I think I should be able to survive on Canon's first party lenses. I'll have to use a cable for connecting microphone, same I do right now, but this is a big enough deal. And if they compromise so much on Sony's offering, I will not be interested. But again, I'm reasonably sure the price will not be stupid high, because again, Canon released something reasonable, Nikon released something very cheap. So Sony cannot just say, oh, we're going to overcharge a lot. So, but this is very good. Like, having good competition for good pricing is good for all of us. I'm very happy with this. And again, I do not want that overheated shutdown camera. I do not want that. So this was my presentation on basically Canon EOS R6 Mark III. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst a friend. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.